Okay, moving on to vitamins. This is a shorter one, which you'll be very happy to know. Just remember that you don't need to know where the vitamins come from or the diseases that they're caused, although it's kind of interesting and the biology students would have to know that. So we're just focusing on a few things. Most of them will be the chemical structures, but this number 0.005, so this is how we distinguish between macro and micronutrients. So we talked about the three major molecules, proteins, fats and carbohydrates already, and they're quite long, those ones. Now we're just micronutrients are these vitamins, and the minerals can be on either side of this macro-micro divide. Moving on to that, so please use the flashcards on my website, especially for topics like this, because you'd have to memorize this. They could ask you to define what a vitamin is. Organic micronutrient that cannot be synthesized by the organism in sufficient amounts must be either obtained from pharmaceutical foods as taken as food supplements. Eesh, you probably have to get like 3 of these just to get that 1 point. So the waters, we'll talk about which ones are water soluble and which ones are fat soluble. Obviously it's got to be a low, if it's going to look like water and be water soluble, low molecular weight and polar. This will be a large molecular weight and non-polar. Just to summarize that, but we will look at the structure a little bit more. You can get rid of these, you can't really get poison from these, like vitamin C. Whereas A and D you can get poison from, so don't eat the liver of a polar bear because you'll die from vitamin D poisoning. So let's move on. I'm sure you're all gonna kill polar bears and eat their livers. Alright, let's move on. I didn't say that. Okay, next, vitamin A. So this is very large and a big, huge polar alkene chain. Where are we? So that's obviously fat soluble, so that can be toxic. One polar hydroxyl group and long non-polar hydrocarbon chain and ring. Alright, so that's the stuff you need to know. I have other stuff in this PowerPoint that I'm not reading out, which is where you get the food you get it from and the diseases it causes. You may be asked to identify groups on the chain as well. So the alcohol group, several polyunsaturated hydrocarbons. There's polyunsaturated hydrocarbons. By the way, these chemicals are the ones you need to know in the data booklet, so don't stress about that either. So it's fairly easy, just recognize the groups. So straight away, without reading the food and the diseases, I can see this is massive non-polar. So where's that written? One polar hydroxyl group. That's nothing. It hasn't mentioned that there is a large hydrocarbon groups, non-polar hydrocarbon groups. So it is fat soluble and it's not. It's hydrophobic. Alright, that's all you need to know really. Vitamin C, it's much smaller, all of these polar groups, so it is not fat soluble, it is water soluble. So lots of hydroxyl groups, phenyl group, small alkene, it's fairly small. That's all you need to know. So recognize the groups, tell me whether it is soluble or not in fat or water. So I'm just going to skip through these are quite interesting but don't need to be known. So highly relevant, common diseases, based on not getting your vitamins. Alright, and so the last thing, you will actually know something like this, something they may ask you to define malnutrition. Again, I've got flashcards for these things, so it's quite complex, the definition. Lack of regular, balanced supply of nutrients. That's to sort of cover a lot of bases there. So how do you solve that? Fresh fruit and veggies, balance. We've added nutrients to food with GMOs. Fortification is a fantastic way, especially iodine to salt, all sorts of things, but fortifying the cereals. Vitamin nutritional supplements. Vitamins is the common word, say nutritional supplements. So they're ways to solve it. So I'd learn two of those perhaps as well, on the odd chance that this is one of the questions that you don't know. And that's it for vitamins.